7 years ago, this project began, and here we are about ready to put shovels in the ground for the beginning of construction. But you know, we should take time to remember that our ancestors 145 years ago were the ones that had the idea of helping the elderly in our community. And it's through their donations over the years that in fact these two assisted living facilities existed up to today and had enough assets for us to plan a project such as this.
Hillside Village really will offer the best of town and country. We have a great 48-acre piece of land that we're being built on with all the great amenities that you can do outside, but literally minutes from downtown Keene where you can enjoy the vibrant life of the city. The opportunity to have a life plan community like Hillside Village be in the Monadnock region and serve folks that live in the Monadnock region and allow them to live in the community that they have lived in for decades and love, and being able to allow them to stay in this area. That really is the vision of the community.
I have a son living in the area. I have a daughter in North Carolina and another daughter in Seattle, but I'm a Yankee and I wanted to stay in New England. I did not want to go into a place where I might, like a condo, buy a condo, just scale down, because you then have to make a decision, or someone makes it for you, that you can no longer live independently.
I heard my friend Jeannie talking about it. So one day I said to Jeannie, I said, well, you know, I think that I'm going to go to a meeting to see what this is all about. I didn't go with the intention of becoming a future resident at all. After all, I was a healthcare worker and I should have a little bit of knowledge and information about things in my community, but I never went with the intention that this might possibly be for me. Before I walked out of there, I'd made the decision, this was really incredible, and this was what I was going to do.
There's a long history of this organization, and it all started with the sewing circle at the Unitarian Church in 1871. And they thought it would be a wonderful idea to develop a place where they could stay and eat and be housed. And this was all done through local donations. And actually in 1871 there was a matching gift to the community to raise the funds to buy a house on Beaver Street. They were very forward-looking. In about the 1980s, they changed their name to Prospect Hill Home, subsequently Prospect Place. One other thing that happened in 2010 was that a trust that had been set up in 1923 by Ellen Gage and her husband Sidney, who owned a basket factory in Westminster, Vermont. The last bit of her endowment came to us. It was decided that we should look into whether or not developing a continuing care retirement community was a possibility. The board felt that we were able to then hire a consultant to help us study the market, and there was a search in Keene for this type of property. In 2013, we found 48 acres.
My grandparents were John and Mary Dodds. They bought the farm in 1930. They farmed the land probably until the late 1940s. What Hillside has done is named the 4 wings after farms in the area. And so the wing that my dad is moving into is the Dodds wing, and the others were the 3 other farms in the area, which was the Knight Farm, the Barrett Farm, and the Mackenzie Farm.
The other amenity that I believe is very important for people and offers them significant peace of mind is that future promise of health care at a predictable cost.
The most important thing for us is the long-term security, the ability to know that should I predecease Peggy, that she's in a comfortable community of friendly people who are comfortable with her, she is comfortable with them, and that she will live comfortably in an environment which we can afford, that is structured correctly for our personal needs. It's just a perfect fit.
The location to me is particularly perfect because we live in the country. Right now we're outside of Keene and we have a very rural setting. We look across a field with gardens, which we'll be glad to not have those anymore, into the woods, and this location is like we'll be looking out the windows across a field to the woods, and we might even see Mount Monadnock, which would be a real treat.
We have felt so welcomed and so valued and so warmed and touched by the other people that we've met, the folks who will be our neighbors, and specifically also by the staff, by everybody have just extended themselves as if we've known each other for the past 20 years at least. And that's priceless.
I like all the things that they have taken from the focus groups that they first asked people about before they began even coming up with the idea of what they're going to build. An example of that is the underground parking, so that when you approach the facility, you'll wonder where are all the cars for all these units. I think it adds aesthetics to the whole environment, and I like to see a nice looking environment like that.
Well, I think we were looking for, most importantly, to be able to remain in Keene, as we didn't want to move outside of Keene. This is our community, where our friends are.
There's one very important lesson that I learned when I was visiting CCRCs and talking to the residents of the CCRCs, and it's almost universal. What they told me was this: the only thing I regret is not joining a CCRC earlier.
There are so many people that need to be thanked for getting Hillside Village to this milestone. The first ones are our depositors. They had faith in us to get us to our 70% in order to go to financing. The vision of our Board of Trustees to just have the courage to change the model of what they were doing. And the developer who has brought us through the process of getting all our variances and permits in place in order to start the construction of the community. And we all owe you a huge thanks. Groundbreaking was the apex of everything that we have been working towards, and it was so exciting. It was so exciting to share it with our Board of Trustees who have worked so diligently on this project for the last several years, and it was their vision that really drove this project forward. And with all the people that have been part of the project and making it come to fruition.